Why would you need the precision measurement system? Well, sometimes when we're cutting, we don't square up our fabric, or maybe we think we do. So I want to show you what's happening in that process. And I'm going to use this as my ruler, which is another mat, but it's going to service the purpose that my fabric is folded. I have it's coming off of the bolt of fabric, and I'm going to brush this down, and I'm going to show you what happens if fabric is not squared up. If it were squared up, this edge would be, and this would be perpendicular. And you might want to try your ruler and make sure that it is a perfect right angle. But anyway, let's say that I don't quite have a squared up angle here. I don't have a right angle right here. I'm going to cut a strip of fabric. Okay. And so I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to assume that it is a straight angle. So I'm going to move my ruler up a little bit, and I'm going to cut, let's say that's a measurement of 2 inches. And so I cut again. Now, this is extremely important, because what you want is to have this whole width of fabric strip that you can subcut into your quilt pieces. However, remember, this was not squared up. So when I open up this, I see that this is straight. But when I get to my fold, let's say I don't have a straight, I can't use this because of this V. I can use only this 21 inches of fabric, and I have to stop, because when I square this up, it'll be okay. But I can't go across here because it's not going to be okay. You can see that it's out of sight. It's all green. It's up there, way into this. So this V that you get when you're cutting fabric in strips, if this is not a right angle, then you're going to get an obtuse angle. You're going to get a dip. See, it would ordinarily go like that if it were straight, but it doesn't. It goes like this. And so you're not getting fabric here that you can use piecing, because you don't have the straight sides. We're going to cut fabric strips today for fabric pieces that have been strip cut. And so we have a bolt of fabric here. The fold is on this side to me. This is a raw edge that has been ripped. What I want to do is square up my fabric, which means that I have a perfect 90-degree angle here. And the spacers that I'm using from Precision Measurement System are 90-degree, perfect 90-degree angles here. And so I could put this here, and if it's flush on this line, if it's completely lined up with the edge of the fabric, and it doesn't matter what's over there, I'm going to square up this folded edge. So I'm going to put this here. As you can probably see, now this runs off the edge of the fabric. So I have to slide the ruler up so that I know I'm going to have fabric here under there when I cut it. And so I'm going to put my hand down, and I'm going to open up my rotary cutter. And an additional thing I could do is put a spacer on the edge to make sure that it goes. The longer this line is, the more accurate your right angle is. If I had used this narrow ruler, it would not have given me the best angle I could get. So I'm going to take the rotary cutter and I'm going to cut beside this closer. And I take that away, and what I have on this edge here is a perfect right angle. Okay, I'm going to introduce you now to the precision measurement system that is composed of tools. And there are 15 tools that we're going to use. One of these tools is the trapezoid. The trapezoid has a 45-degree angle. It's 45 degrees from this side and this side. And it has a 60-degree angle, which is here, which gives you, if you form a perpendicular with that, your 30 degree. So you have a 30 degree and a 60 degree angle on this side and a 45 degree angle on this side. These are parallel. Okay? The next special tool, the trapezoid is a special tool, and also the closer is special. The closer's function is to put your hand on. It's 6.5 inches wide so that your fingers will not extend past it so they don't get cut. And it is to say, this is where I use this as my cutting line. Very important. You want a straight, smooth cutting line. So you want to take care of those edges. These are two special tools. The rest of the tools I call spacers. And so here is a 24-inch, all of them are 24 except the trapezoid. 24 inches, which will go across any bolt of fabric. Unless you're doing the 60 or 180 and then 180 and then it won't do that. This tool is 1 inch wide. That is a measurement. It's a precise measurement. You notice there are no lines to line up with. The edges are that cutting line. Now, these go up, graduated into this 1.125 is 1 1/8 inch wide. So I put this on top. You can see, I hope, that this is 1/8 of an inch wider than this one. And each of the tools go by up 1/8 of an inch in. Oops. So here's my 1.25, and most of us know that's 1 1/4. That's like $1.25, so that's a fourth. This is an 1/8. We go to 1.375. That goes up another 1/8. So this is 1 1/8, 1 2/8, or 1/4, and 1 3/8. Now, when you get to the next 8, you're going to have 1 1/2. This is like $1, $1.25, $1.50. So that's 1.15. Now, they continue. After the 5 comes the 6. That's 1 5/8. 1.75. Now we're up to $1.75, or 1 3/4. And the last fractional, that you don't have to think about fractions, is 1.875. This is 1 7/8. Now, if I stack these from smaller to larger, or I'd rather do larger to smaller, because you can see the steps in just a minute of the 8ths that are taking place. So let's put the closer right here, back it up, push them all on there, and they look like little steps. And those steps, increments, are 1/8 inch. Okay? Now, the reason that these things are... Oh, I forgot about my units. I better do my units. I forgot. I have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, it adds up to 15, I can assure you. Should have done this earlier. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fractional measures. Then I have 6. There's a 1 inch, a 2 inch. Now we're going to take the precision measurement system and we're going to cut some, or talk about how we're going to cut some strips. And I want to do, let's say, a 2 7/8 inch strip of fabric. That's what my pattern calls for. So I have a 1 1/8. Remember the 1 here signifies 1 1/8. And I can take that spacer and I can take the 1 6/8, which is 3/4, and I can put these together and they add up to 2 7/8. So if I lay these down and I square up my fabric and I put these on the edge, and remember, I don't have to move my fabric after I square it up because I'm going to line this. Let's say I use this right here. I've lined up the fabric with that. Here is my 1/8 and my 6/8 or 3/4. So this is my 2 7/8. I put this down, I move this, and I cut. But the precision measurement system has the ability to give you another combination of rulers. If I take the 1 3/8 and the 1 1/2 or 4/8, it gives me the same measurement of 2 7/8. So I don't have to move my fabric. I can take this combination with this combination, and now I can cut first this strip, and then I can cut this strip. And I want you to see that if I put, maybe you'll have to trust me on this, if I put these, this is exactly the same width by touch. It doesn't have any variation from working across a line. Now, that's not all. There's another combination. The 1 4 plus the 1 3/4 gives, 3/8 gives me another combination of 2 7/8. Now, that means if my border or my binding needs to be 2 7/8, then I can put my fabric down, square it up. I'm using the end of this ruler for the squaring up, and I can cut 3 consecutive strips that are 2 7/8 without moving anything. And that gives me a lot of power in that I have exactly, precisely those 1, 2, 3 cuts. 3. You see, you get used to build up your biceps because you get used to moving these things. It's good for you. Good exercise. Quilting exercise. Okay, now, these are 6 that are exactly whole number units, 1 through 6. Now, I'll tell you a little secret. The closer that you'll use for cutting by, this is to say it's time to cut. This is 6 1/2 inches. And no coincidence. In case you want to do a 6 1/2, you've got an extra one that's 6 1/2. It's not 8, it's not 12. It fits your hand, and it's wide enough for the average hand to fit on. So you've got 6 of these.